Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS College Football Week 3, continuing on West Virginia Pitt. Let's go.
Welcome to the SWUS. The SWUS. SWUS. Hey, get the SWUS.
All right, like I said, West Virginia's on the road at Pitt for this one. Pittsburgh's a short home dog here, plus 2.5. Totals all the way up at 60.5, which is a reflection of the new Cade Bell run Pitt Offense, which is fast and high-powered, apparently. So, totals up at 60.5. So let's go ahead and get into this one. We know what this West Virginia team wants to do offensively. They want to run the football. Here are their numbers from last year. Top 25 rushing attack. They were 14th in yards per carry, 4th in effective rush. They came into this season bringing back a ton of production on the offensive side. We're all expecting West Virginia to be a top 25 rushing attack again, maybe even better than last year. But they opened their season against Penn State and couldn't do shit on the ground. 37 carries, 85 yards rushing against Penn State. Definitely a disappointing performance to open up the season. Now, in fairness to West Virginia, Penn State might have the best run defense in college football, and it was week 1, so let's not overreact to it. But that's going to be a problem. If West Virginia is unable to run the ball, I don't know what else they're going to do offensively. They were 7th in run frequency last year. They run the ball just as much as Air Force, Army, and Navy, maybe a step below that. This team needs to run the football. But again, we're not going to overreact because they couldn't run on Penn State. That might be the best run defense in the country. So how do they match up against Pitt's defense? Well, last year, Pitt had a pretty good defense against the run. 34th in yards per carry, 30th in run defense success rate, 25th in effective rush. But as we've talked about a few times, they lost a ton of production on the defensive side of the ball. Just 4 returning starters on defense. They also lost their defensive line coach. All 4 starters on the defensive line are gone. So Pitt's defensive front definitely got gutted. So how did they come out? Well, they're looking pretty good. 21st in yards per carry allowed, 44th in success rate, 30th in effective rush. They're rated 45th in the country in DFEI, which is a schedule-adjusted overall defensive metric. Pittsburgh's defense, despite getting gutted, has come out the gate looking pretty strong here. Last week on the road in Cincinnati. Now, Cincinnati's not a great team, but we expect Cincinnati to be able to run the football this year. 37 carries, 151 yards on the ground, 4.1 yards per carry. That's not bad. And we do want to point out that this Pitt team went on the road to Morgantown last year and shut the West Virginia run game down. 151 rushing yards in the game, but just 2.96 yards per carry. So they've showed us they can shut West Virginia down. But personally, I think we're going to see some regression here. I mean, we're finally going to see West Virginia look like the elite rushing attack we know they are. We actually saw it last week. They ran for like 300 yards on Albany. But we're going to see it in this one. I think West Virginia's going to be able to run the football. They had no problems moving the ball on the road last year. In fact, they were 22nd in rushing success rate last year on the road. Top 25 road offense. So I know Pitt's defense looks pretty strong so far, and we haven't seen all those pieces missing and the missing defensive line coach. We're going to see it in this one. West Virginia is going to be able to run the ball. Now, when we flip it over to the other side, this is where it gets really tough to predict. West Virginia's defense hasn't looked great. They've only played 2 games, and one of them was against Penn State, though. Really tough to make a judgment here. Pass defense is looking bad. Drew Aller was really efficient. Didn't drop back to pass a ton of times. But as a whole, the West Virginia defense not looking too strong. And this wasn't really a great defense last year. I mean, last year they were 76 in yards per play allowed, 59th in success rate, 83rd in PPA. It's definitely too early to say whether or not they've improved from last year defensively. But one thing we can point at, they were terrible away from Morgantown last year. Check this out. One of the worst road defenses in the country. PPA per play, 128th, 120th in pass defense success rate on the road. They were a terrible road defense last year. And this Pittsburgh offense, out of nowhere, is looking pretty electric. 22nd in the country in yards per play this year, 25th in success rate. Now, if you look at some schedule-adjusted metrics, 72nd in effective rush, 56th in effective pass, 80th in OFEI. Basically, those metrics are telling us that we shouldn't be all in on this Pitt offense just yet. I mean, they played Kent State and Cincinnati. Neither of those teams have a formidable defense. But you know what? Neither does West Virginia. So who's to say this offensive explosion doesn't continue here? Eli Holstein's been throwing the ball all over the field. I didn't even know this was going to be the quarterback. I thought it was going to be Yarnell. So Eli Holstein's at quarterback, 633 yards, 8.4 yards per attempt, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, he has thrown a pick in each game. We talked about how this West Virginia defense is a little questionable. Still should be much better than Cincinnati and Kent State's defense, though, to be fair. So this will be the toughest defense he's ever seen. But now that it looks like Narduzzi has given the keys to this offense to Cade Bell, we might have to reevaluate what we think about this offense. I mean, last week when on the road, Cincinnati, 498 yards of offense, 8.4 yards per pass, 5.9 yards per carry. This offense looked really good. Again, it was against Cincinnati, but it's still a road game where they went and lit it up. They came back from down 3 scores to win that game. And we're talking about night and day difference here. Last year, Pitt, 131st in pace. One of the slowest paced football teams in the entire country. This year, 15th in pace. So this Pitt team is moving, and it's working so far. But as far as betting this game, I think it's time to sell high a little bit on this Pitt team. The money line for this game opened up in August at minus 210. It's now at minus 135, and I just think that's an overreaction by the market. Should correct itself. West Virginia is the much better team here. They're going to be able to run the football with ease, in my opinion. They should win this game, so I bet the money line. WVU money line, I got it at minus 135. Pitt looks strong, but I'm calling bullshit. If you'd like to see all the bets I currently have open for this weekend, head over to KyleKirms.com and click on Open Bets. NFL and college football is all there. I think I have 4 or 5 open at the time of recording this. That's on Tuesday morning. So by the time you're watching this, there might be more. Head over. Oh, and if you sign up for Sauce Network Plus, it comes with access to the Discord, and you can participate in the weekly betting league. So head over to the website and sign up if you're interested. Live shows, 4 p.m. Eastern Time weekdays. 10 a.m. Eastern Time is the big Saturday show. 10 a.m. up to kickoff will be live. Sunday, NFL, 11 a.m. to kickoff. So if you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Let's have ourselves a nice week 3. Remember to bet responsibly. I'll talk to you in the Discord.